The Mapes Hotel and Casino opened in December 1947 as the tallest building in Nevada. The state-of-the-art Art Deco structure overlooked the rippling Truckee River and the Sierra Nevadas. It was designed by Charles Sr. and his wife Gladys with their son Charles Jr., building their dream hotel. It had all the amenities of the time, with over 300 rooms and suites, a sky room, and more elevators and operators than any other structure in Nevada. Movie stars, burlesque dancers, and prominent gamers were guests. Oh, the stories it could have told. Some of those memories are still alive today.
Well, for the past 25 years of my life, my home away from home has been KOLO, News Channel 8. But for the first 25 or 30 years of my life, my home away from home was the Mapes Hotel. My father, Bob Stoddard, he was originally the manager of KOH way back before he got into his own radio station of 1340 AM KATO, which later he changed to KBET. That was because, well, he told me the story was because of betting and gaming in Nevada. My mother, on the other hand, said the BET was for Betty. So take your pick, either way. Interesting note regarding the rent that he had to pay there. I asked him about it one day, and he said, well, I talked with the manager, the owner of the Mapes, Charlie Mapes, and we shook hands, and he said, go ahead and take the office way down at the end of the hall. And that was all that was discussed about rent. All he had to do, my dad, was mention studios in the mezzanine of the Mapes Hotel. So that's the way it went for a long, long time, as long as Dad was there. These are postcard pictures of what the Mapes started out a long time ago as. This is an interesting postcard picture here. It'll show some of the blank areas where windows were, and that was just before they finally put in all of the windows. These pictures of the Mapes Hotel are absolutely fascinating, and I believe when it was launched in the late 1940s, it was the biggest hotel casino in the state of Nevada. Of course, that didn't last very long, thanks to Las Vegas. But other than that, it was a great place to visit. I was basically brought up there.
Many, many years ago, my father was the casino manager at the Mapes Hotel, and I stopped by one evening to meet him after work and to have a drink. And as we were leaving, there was a high roller at one of the 21 tables, and as I went by, he grabbed me and gave me a $25 chip. And I turned and said, I can't take this, and my dad just pushed me and he says, go, go, go. So I went, but that $25 chip to me was a lot of money because I was in my 20s and I thought that was like gold, and who would just give you money? So that was kind of a good, interesting experience at the Mapes.
This is the official menu from the coach room of the Mapes Hotel. I don't know what year this would go back to, but it's fascinating to look at some of the menu of what was going on then. You could get a Caesar salad for $2 for $5. That's not a bad deal. And they had the menu is just amazing. Beautiful print here, and I don't know where I got this from. Probably my mother kept it for so many years, and it wound up in my possession. So I think this should go somewhere very important over the years to come.
Back in the day, back in the early 60s, I wasn't even 21 yet, but I was allowed to go into the different casinos to interview the entertainers for what was then the Entertainment Guide. Now it's called Best Bets. But anyway, this guy named Jim Burgett, and he was out of Las Vegas, came up with this rock and roll show up to the Mapes in their lounge. And what it was a go-go show. Well, go-go dancing was just coming into fashion. And anyway, he used to get me up on stage, and that's where I learned to go-go dance, was on stage at the Mapes. And I guess I got good enough because I used to dance with different groups and such, and I was also managing a rock and roll band, and I danced with them every week. So I finally went out and got my outfit, the little short skirt with fringe on it, and the little crop top with fringe. And so that's what I did. I just had fun go-go dancing for a long time. And it was all because of Jim Burgett and the Mapes Hotel.
An interesting story back to my dad again. I think it was the flood of 1955. He had his studios in the Mapes Hotel, and he went over to the south side of the Mapes, which faced the Truckee River, and he was known as taking his microphone and lowering it down close to the water so that we could hear the rushing water during the flood of 1955. He also did something else rather interesting in his morning newscast at 7 a.m. He read from the newspaper the local and national news, and he was the only one that was known to do that for quite some time to come. So that was fascinating.
I was probably 8. I'm going to say 8, 9. And my dad was still working at the Mapes as a casino manager. And I got to stay in his room. He was living there at the time. And he said, if you need anything, call me. Well, I'd never been left alone in my life, so I'm in this room. And they were not big in those days. They were small rooms. And so I smelt smoke. And then you're thinking, is this in your head, or you're just thinking because your dad said call him and you're scared, so you just want to call? So I call, and they send a bellman up, and the bellman comes in, and there indeed is a fire, because my dad was a smoker, and he dumped his ashtray into the trash can, and there was smoke filling the room. So my dad came up, and of course he was embarrassed because he did cause the fire, but I was the hero because I found the fire.
Even Charlie Mapes, the owner of the Mapes, was aware of how old I was when I was in there, but he always treated me really nice. He was really a nice guy to me, and I knew his wife, Gloria, as well. And yeah, he'd come in every now and then to see what was going on where, and I'd run into him, so that was cool.
So this has been a fun collection over the years, and there's a lot of great pictures of the Mapes. It was very sad to see it go down, as I remember when that occurred. I think that was in 1982. What was unfortunate there is that they lost all the water rights to the hotel, so that pretty much demolished the idea of developing it again. And I understand some of the walls were like 6, 7 inches thick, so it's too bad we didn't keep it around as a real interesting place to go and visit and stay, other than your new modern hotels that are out there now. I think it took only like 75 pounds of dynamite to bring down the Mapes, and that was just in a matter of minutes.
A part of Reno's past, the plaza beneath this grand hotel, for many, still holds memories of what once was.